We are living in your radio this morning and glad to have you with us on Wednesday morning. Politics is our family business, and out in the 29th Senate District, apparently there is a very hot race here in the Grand Rapids area, Kentwood, Cascade Township, Lowell, and a couple of other areas as well. And glad to have David LaGrand, who is the Democrat for the 29th District for the state Senate, running for office. Now, David LaGrand is 44 years old. And as an attorney, he owns the Wealthy Street Bakery, and he was the former assistant Kent County prosecutor. Interesting background, to be sure. Good morning to you.
Morning.
You've got 13 days left until the general election. How will you spend them?
Well, working every single day, every single minute I can. Trying to be on the radio 24 hours a day. Ideally, that's got to be the best media place to be. So this is at least half an hour of that, right?
Yeah. What sets you apart? Because after all, Dave Hildebrand, the state representative you're running against, is somewhat younger than you, but he's got a lot of experience in politics.
Well, that's really what sets me apart. Dave's, as far as we can tell, never had a day job outside of Lansing, and there's nothing. It's nothing personal, but I've spent my adult life starting businesses and creating jobs, and I think everybody knows right now we've got one issue in Michigan. We got to get people back to work. Right now, we've got 80% of our population bearing 100% of the costs of government, and until we change that dynamic, we're going to be under some real strain. So I've got business background. I think that I've got the skills we need to get people back to work and to bring real reform to Lansing, because I also was on city commission in Grand Rapids. That's a nonpartisan background, and I think that we've seen far too much hyper-partisan bickering in Lansing and not enough productivity. I'm a business guy, but I'm also a uniter, not a divider, to quote one of our former presidents, and I think we need to bring people together around and have discussions, not debates.
Where do you stand on the scale of conservative versus liberal? Are you a moderate, conservative Democrat, liberal Republican? I mean, obviously you're running as a Democrat, but where do you stand politically, if you had to characterize it?
You know, I think that I like the way you put that, but I think that, I tend to think of politics in terms of circles, not in terms of dividing lines. So I think most people, you can define anything as an on-off switch, right? Are you for it or are you against it?
Yeah.
Well, that tends to lead to fights. I think most Americans are in the reasonable center. Most of us agree about most things. So I consider myself a solid centrist. As a matter of fact, the Grand Rapids Press called me an independent guy. I think voters right now want people who are accountable to them, not to party structures, and that's one of the reasons I've promised never to become a lobbyist. Dave Hildebrand has not yet taken me up on that challenge to join me. I promised I'll never become a lobbyist. I've proposed that we have much, much stronger laws to prevent legislators becoming lobbyists in general. Promised to cut my pay, and I've also disclosed all my personal finances publicly so the voters know where my investments are. I think we need people who are accountable to the people, and I think it's time to stop thinking about where you are in the party structure.
Sure sounds like you've done everything you can do, and it's very well spoken. Let's talk again before the 13 days are up before the general election.
Yeah, thanks. And just so your voters know, my opponent raised the business tax, and I have never raised anybody's taxes.
In fact, you're a job creator, it looks like to me.
Exactly. Thanks.
David LaGrand, 44, running for state senate in Grand Rapids, and really has a good sort of mantra there.